what about you? Very welcome. Hit the wee follow button wherever it is. Top left, top right, bottom right. I don't know. They just move it about to confuse me every week. They do it in badness. Anyway, it is Sunday the 28th of April 2024. So we know that means it is time for... Yes, it's time for Work of the Week. And the recipient this week is a military man in the shape of Col.Tim Collins. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Col.Tim, he was made famous for having made a speech to his men ahead of the invasion of Iraq. Now, sadly, that famous speech wasn't filmed. But don't despair, because none other than our own Kenneth Branagh, he reenacted it for a movie, show or TV, I don't know which. So, anyway, take it away, Ken.
We are going into Iraq to liberate and not to conquer. We will not fly our flags in their country. Now, there are some who are alive at this moment who will not be alive shortly.
Won't be alive shortly? I'd be one of the soldiers going,
Hey, hold on here. Colonel, excuse me, Col.Tim. Hold on, son. Could you repeat that to me for a second? What exactly did you say there?
Now, luckily, of course, for Col.Tim, he did survive. As strangely, most colonels who make stirring speeches to their men do. Don't ask me why that is. I don't understand, but they all seem to survive. It's the soldiers who don't. But back to the stern speech.
As for the others, I expect you to rock their world. Wipe them out.
Rock their world? Rock their world. Wipe them out. I think that's a wee bit rough. But admittedly, right after that, he followed up by saying,
You tread lightly there.
Tread lightly there. I presume that's after you've wiped them out. That must be when after they wiped them out, the tread lightly. Anyway, more of the video.
And leave Iraq a better place for us having been there.
Oh, that's very important. Very important. Leave Iraq a better place for us having been there. Now you see, we now know a few things that we didn't know then. Like we now know that the Iraq War was predicated on a lie spun by Tony Blair and Bush Jr. that Saddam Hussein, bastard that he was, that Saddam Hussein had WMDs or weapons of mass destruction, and of course he didn't. And as for leaving the place better for them being there, well, I don't know. Pretty much every country in the world now advises their citizens, don't go near Iraq. Do not travel to Iraq. Because the country is still riven by violence and war and instability. But hey, let's be fair. I'll Tim the great speech. Like, it's not Tim's fault. He wasn't a no. How it would turn out. You can't expect Col.Tim to know everything. Or as we have discovered the last few weeks, know anything. You see, Col.Tim has been selected by the Ulster Unionist leader, Sergeant Major Doug Beattie, to run for the party in the upcoming Westminster election in the North Down constituency presently held by Alliance's Stephen Farry. Now, the military thing, there's a long history. We have a tradition here of military types going into politics. Goes way back. I'm old enough to remember Captain O'Neill way back in the day. And a lot of military types on both sides here have moved on to politics. Some of them with titles, some of them with not. Let's just leave that there. Dodgy territory I'm going into here. Let's go back to Col.Tim. Or as I will call him going forward, Col.Tim but Dim. You'll understand why shortly. Right? Because last week he gave an interview to a paper. Oh, he was confident. He had no worries about his capacity to not only win the seat, but he was utterly dismissive of the other candidates, stating that among them there isn't any quality whatsoever, or anyone with the necessary gravitas amongst them. He went on to argue that these other candidates were only interested with potholes, parking and dog excrement on the pavement. Now, Tim but Dim's obviously oblivious to the fact that it would be the Roads Department, DOE and local councils who would deal with such issues and not MPs. But no matter, don't get into details with Col.Tim but Dim, because he went on to denounce the sitting MP, Stephen Farry. He accused him of who is not a unionist. The Alliance Party is at least vaguely, if not broadly, pro-nationalists. People need to be aware of that.
This will come as something of a shock to members of the Alliance Party,
who I have no doubt will follow Col.Tim but Tim's in-depth analysis and immediately run out and buy themselves tricolours. But the Colonel didn't stop there. He was on a roll. He had other important insights to share with us, such as a warning to us about immigration. Yes, seemingly we are being overwhelmed by immigrants. He said that public services in Great Britain are collapsing because of immigration.
God damn it! It's like we're back in the good old days of Enoch Powell. And it's like a throwback to Enoch Powell when chaps
with a proper accent were putting it to the bloody foreigners. But not content with attacking local politicians and immigrants, Col.Tim, he finished off his interview on a real high note. He went all in. Who else could he insult? I know, disabled. He had a go at the disabled. He says they were responsible for pushing for a border poll. Yeah, according to the Colonel, people would not vote for United Ireland if it meant losing disability living allowance. He said the thought of disability benefits disappearing in a United Ireland and people having to get up in the morning and go to work with focused minds on the border poll.
Col.Tim but Tim
obviously hadn't been told that the DLA had been scrapped here in 2017 and replaced by the Personal Independence Payments, or PIP. No matter, don't bother about details. Tim but Tim, he was certain that the only people interested in a United Ireland are those in incapacity benefits. Sure, I've always thought the same myself. See, if I be honest with you, I've always thought the same myself. Sure, isn't every disabled person a Fenian in disguise? So the truth is out, and God bless Col.Tim but Tim. God bless Col.Tim but Tim for exposing this wheelchair threat and plot to our beloved union. Now, when UUP leader Doug Beattie was shown Col.Tim but Tim's interview, I am certain I know his reaction. And that was, oh, for fuck's sake.
No, Tommy. Oh, no, he didn't say that. Did he say? Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, he couldn't have said that. He couldn't have. They're making this up. Please tell me you're making this up. My eyes. Oh, no, he couldn't have. Oh, dear God.
To give out Doug's credit, he did his best at damage limitation. And about the interview, he was very candid. He said that Tim's interview, right, it was the wrong interview. What he said was wrong, and the manner in which he said it was, guess, wrong. In other words, he's what we call in these parts a wrong'un. He's a wrong'un. Now, but Doug did take some blame, saying he'd been wrong himself and that he hadn't properly briefed the Colonel on UUP party policy. I'm presuming that meant explaining to the Colonel that he shouldn't come across as an arrogant, ignorant dick who blames immigrants and the disabled for the problems of our society. There's credit. Gotta be credit with Doug. Doug went on. He went so far as to admit that in comparison to Col.Tim but Tim, the sitting MP in North Down, Stephen Farry, well, he was in fact the more experienced and better qualified candidate. Not exactly a glowing recommendation from your party leader there for Col.Tim. But I'll tell you this, I'll guarantee you this, Doug's analysis will be emblazoned on your man's election posters, Farry's election posters, going forward. Now, as for Col.Tim but Tim, I'd suggest to Doug, right, cut your losses. Leave the imbecile where he belongs, standing at the bar of some golf club across the water talking shit. For we all know
You can shine a turd. You can shine a turd as much as you like. But a turd is a turd is a turd. And Col.Tim is one of the shiniest turds I have ever come across in my life. If you were to look at the man, I need glasses, I need sunglasses, it's too bright. He's hurting me eyes. He's hurting me eyes.
That's all, folks.